Hello, welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam, and today I am playing Hardened Scales Affinity. I guess not really Affinity. I kind of want to just call it like Hardened Scales Modular, but this is a version of an artifact aggro deck, I guess, or robots, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, that definitely uses Hardened Scale really well. You can see Walking Ballista, Hangerback Walker go really nicely with Arcvine Ravager. We get Steel Overseer, and then Nissa and Evolutionary Leap. This is small Nissa. Nissa voices Zendikar. So a lot of cool ways to use Hardened Scales. Deck looks really sweet. Unfortunately, this hand cannot produce a single mana, so I'm going to send it back. This hand, it doesn't look crazy, but Hardened Scales gets degenerate really quick, so I'm definitely going to keep. And we have Ravager too. How good is Ancient Stirrings? We're definitely turn 1 Scales, turn 2 Ravager, and I kind of want to play second Scales on turn 3. Which makes playing Stirrings kind of difficult. So even though Stirrings is good, I think I'm going to bottom it. This is just, I don't want to sit here and dilly-dally for too long. Yeah, I certainly would love to find a Walking Ballista or a Hangerback Walker, but I would also need to find another land for that. So I'm just going to hope to find one off the top. I could also sequence Scales into Ravager in case I can potentially find Arcbound Worker, so I'll have something to modular onto if they have a removal spell. But we'll play that by ear. Opponent also keeps 7. Okay. I have a Hardened Scales. What do you have? A basic island. And nothing. Feels a bit like an opt. Given that I have the 3rd land, I definitely want to use my mana and play the 2-drop here. So I will play a Ravager. Basic Island also might mean a deck that doesn't have a lot of interaction. At least I'm hoping. Another Basic Island. Ooh, they pitched an SSG to play As Foretold. And now I get to Ancestral. So they're probably like the Kiki Jiki deck. Okay, Mishra's Bauble. I no longer know what's going on, but it seems cool, so who do they target with that Bauble? Targeting me. That makes sense. So they know this card. Evolutionary Leap. Not great. I am going to play it and hold up in case of a removal spell, though. Because I want to find another creature to keep going. And just attack for 2. Once I find a second creature, things will get really degenerate really quickly. Especially if that creature is Hangerback Walker. As we're told, up to 1. What else you got? I would normally think they're like the Gorios, Kiki, As Foretold, the deck, based on what I just saw, but Bauble is strange. Bauble definitely means they're not... I guess they could still Living End with it, because they're not cascading. They've tapped mana for this Serum Visions, which seems strange, unless they have another 1-mana spell. They might have another Ancestral, I guess. I also did fetch before casting this Visions. A split on the Scry. I have to be wary of Living End, but Arcvine Ravager is very good against Living End, so I'm not super concerned about that one. Though my creatures coming back aren't good. Walking Ballista and Hangerback Walker are not good things to sacrifice against Living End. Bottom off that second Visions, so they're definitely setting up for something. And creature, please. Horizon Canopy. Okay. Mox Opal. That's 3 artifacts, though, so I can cast this. And might as well just use more mana. Cast this, and attack for another 2. Yeah, playing a counterspell or something? Oh, they're remanding. Okay. They might just be a sort of like as foretold control deck, I guess. So I'm definitely going to hold up the mana for Evolutionary Leap. Worth noting that once the second Hardened Scales is down, every artifact is worth 3 counters on this Ravager, so I might be able to just one-shot them with it. That'll be, as between my hand and board, I can get it up to an 11/11. One more artifact and they're dead. Granted, it's hard to go all in on that against Aspertold. Even if they tap out, they could have a spell. But if they're blue-red, they're going to have red removal, so once it's bigger than Bolt, there's not much they can do. Cryptic Command is something to watch out for, so they do have Cryptic mana up right here. Oh, come on. Just need to draw any creature. Anyone at all. There we go. I still want to leave up this Hardened Scales, or this Leap mana. So I'm going to slow play this and just get a 2/2 Ballista. I also kind of feel like this is getting cryptic. Yeah, counterbounce. Okay. Now I can just safely land this Hardened Scales. So they know my hand. Unfortunately, it feels like I'm going to get all my stuff countered. But if I can land one creature, the Evolutionary Leap just keeps the gas going. Okay, that's pretty good. They make mana. Is this another Aspertold? Oh no! Huh. They are a Taking Turns deck. Well, that's interesting. Exhaustion into Days Undoing is pretty sweet. We did draw a pretty good series of things. So we have land and Opal. We have land and Jar turns on Opal, so we can play a 2-mana spell. The question is which one we want to play. They have one baked-in removal spell, but I have to think that they're just going to try to kill us next turn. And I can't really deal with this Chandra. Chandra is a nice win condition, too. They don't have to take too many extra turns before they just ultimate and kill us with that. Just a little slow this game. Well, I think I probably just have to try to kill them next turn if I get an extra turn. So let's just play the Ravager. Yeah, full hand, as foretold on 4, big Chandra. This is going to be a tough one. They are starting off with an exile. They hit a land. Yep, Time Warp. Not good. What does this As Foretold cast? Another As Foretold. That makes sense. And enough mana to even divisions. It's a pretty good hand for them off of this. Bottom, bottom, please. Bottom, top. That's not good. Probably can't beat another Time Walk with some other spells. Yep. This really needed another land earlier. Leap ended up being, I guess, a little bit of a liability because they weren't playing that game. Yeah, would you like to cast another As Foretold? I guess not. Temporal Mastery, sure. And another Visions. Bottom, bottom, please. Bottom top again, come on. Just one time, give me some hope. A semblance of hope, anything. Oh, and now I'm not sure why they would do that. I think they would just want to save spells for this Chandra. But probably just means their hand's all spells and I can't win anyway. Okay, just going for the emblem right away. Oh, and drawing 3 cards. Yeah, that's not good. You have 3 spells. Okay, land is not a spell. Step 1. I don't know if their hand is complete bricks, we're gonna win. So that's cool. Cast a Simian Spirit Guide. This is still going upstairs. Remand my Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah, that'll do it. They just recast the guide. And they didn't even need 3 spells, they only needed 2. Okay, so that's an interesting deck. Do we want Nature's Claim to deal with As Foretold? That seems so narrow. I don't really want that. Kind of just want to run my 60 back. I could bring in Pithing Needle for Chandra, but like, again, just not that good. Most of the time when they're playing As Foretold, they're going to get a spell out of it, like an Ancestral out of it. But me claiming it just doesn't do a whole lot. It can make it more difficult for them to get to their critical turn, but I'm also making it easier for them to get to the critical turn by becoming more reactive. And I'm expecting them to bring in reactive cards against me here, so the leap will get better. So I'm just going to resubmit my 60. I just hate sideboarding. Yes, I would like to play first. Without a Hardened Scales on turn 1, this hand just seems so slow and mopey. Like maybe on turn 4, under no interaction from my opponent, I'm casting all of these spells, like sacrificing the Hangerback to Throne of Geth, and then proliferating onto, and then with the proliferate on the stack, I'll activate Overseer and then put counters on all those tokens. But I need literally no interaction to happen before then. I go turn 2 Overseer, turn 3 Hangerback on 1, activate Overseer, turn 4 Ballista on 1, Throne of Geth, sack, I'm still only getting 2 Thopters. Yeah, this is just a mulligan. Why, Darksteel Citadel? Why? Why have you forsaken me? If these Ancient Stirrings were other things, I think this hand's keepable, but I have to find a green source, and then I'm just casting it's like 1 spell a turn. That's just a mulligan. Well, this is going to be hard to cast, but we have Overseer, Nexus Jar, and that's good enough for me. This Hangerback seems good enough to keep too. Linkmoth Nexus, go. Really wish that was Ballista, not Hangerback. Ballista is the one you want when you're trying to kill quickly. But at this point, I'm going to keep either one. Let's get the jar down first so they can't like bolt or anything. Them suspending Ancestral is a good sign, though. Probably means they don't have an As Foretold. And it gives us some time to set up here while they're down the card. If I can find an Arcbound Ravager, I might be able to get really big with this Blinkmoth Nexus. Just maybe. Okay, see what they do off visions. Are they going to bottom now? A little bit of a tank on this one. It is an early Serum Visions. Tough to tell what you're going to need 4 turns from now. Oh, top. What is this? Just some magical Christmas land where all your cards are great. Okay, well, closer to casting this Nissa, which is kind of cool. Let's play this hanger back. Activate this Blink Moth. And activate this Overseer. And pass the turn. Next turn we might be able to attack. So this Ancestral is now on 2. Just an Arcbound Ravager here would be great. Oh no! This throws off the Ancestral Vision race by so much. I guess they knew that was coming because of Visions. But that is a really good Explorer. Ugh. That is a really good. I kind of think I was favored in this race by a turn, or maybe like I have a lot of draws to be favored. Now I feel like I'm really behind. Sometimes those Miracle Temper Masteries don't do a whole lot. This one did a bunch. And top again. I really hope I don't get Visions again. Throne of Geth, eh? Okay. I guess we'll see if we get remanded first. Okay, they're F6'd based on that reaction. I'm going to do that. Let this resolve, then activate this. Now proliferate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. And now I can't attack, but I have a huge attack next turn. Actually, a lethal attack. So they now get to Ancestral before I attack for lethal because of this time walk. Also, I should have done that on their end step. Because I am very vulnerable to Anger of the Gods. And I did not have to be. Did not have to be at all. Could have just passed. If they go to Anger, I can sack the Citadel to proliferate, get a 4th counter and hanger back. Or I guess just activate the Overseer. But then I would get... Then I would still proliferate on end step. They'd be 5/5s, and I'd start going nuts from there. But this is a lethal attack. And a Chandra is not good. This Time Walk also got them to the point where they can Cryptic Command me, which is really awkward. Oh, and they have Exhaustion. That's pretty good too. Do they not have a land? Oh, well, that's awesome. That's great. They just discard a Temporal Mastery. That makes sense. Okay, well, I'll attack for a bajillion. And by that, I mean 9. Finally get to attack. So they missed a bunch of land drops. They topped off of both Visions, though. So they can't really be mad about missing land drops if they kept scrying to the top I guess they just hit a bunch of exhaustions. Now we don't get to attack at all. Yep. Okay. Have they hit land 4 yet? Or exhaustion number 3? Now that we are untapped, Anger of the Gods is bad, because we can use Throne of Geth to proliferate onto all of our Thopter tokens, so that's at least good. Shatterstorm would be unbeatable. As foretold, is this a living end? No, just an ancestral, so not sure what they're looking for. But I think we have this one. There's land 4 finally. You know what? One blue card do you have? I guess they have Simian Spirit Guide in their deck. They have like Spirit Guide into Hurkyl's Reach. Oh no. So now Simian Spirit Guide lets them sacrifice this Engineered Explosives. So I'm going to sack a Thopter to proliferate. And I think that should do it either way. Because now my that's 9 between Overseer and Blinkmoth. And then I'll have Throne of Geth to proliferate again. That's 11. Yeah, so if I just sack a Thopter, even SSG doesn't do it. I can potentially throw off an Engineer Explosives that doesn't get sacked immediately with Throne of Geth, so we'll keep that in mind. I don't really want to ramp as foretold, though. This is another thing I can do. Dune. Oh. So... Oh, they've stopped me in my draw step. That's fine. Animate this Blinkmoth Nexus. Play this other Blinkmoth Nexus. And mush you. Whew. Well, thought I was in trouble when they time walked me, but then they didn't have lands, so. Sacrifice this one. Yeah, they did the math. Even got an extra point with this Blinkmoth Nexus. I got to use the Welling Jar to regenerate the other Thopter. It was all perfect. Okay, should I be doing anything else? I didn't really see more interaction in their deck. I guess that they have Exhaustion as interaction already, so maybe they're not bringing in a whole lot. I sort of expect them to have like some sort of Shatter effects or Bolts or Anchors, some other sweeper. But we did not see anything that game, so it might behoove us to bring in some claims and deal with, could potentially deal with Engineered Explosives too. Or maybe bring in Pithing Needle for Chandra and EE. It's another artifact too. These Nissas are pretty hard to cast. We've got 7 forests, 3 canopies, 10 opal is 14 green sources. Not a whole lot. So I kind of like the idea of boarding out the Nissas. They're also a pretty slow card. But I think I'm going to bring in Needle instead of Claim. Taking the time off to claim a thing and then they gain 4 life, like I just don't feel like I'm coming out on the right end of that. If I had like a Destructive Revelry kind of card, maybe I'm more inclined. Sand seems pretty good. We're going to be able to accelerate pretty hard, even though we can't opal on use opal on turn 1. We can Stirrings on turn 1, Overseer on 2, and then have plenty of mana for maybe 4 mana on turn 3 to double spell, and then with Jar protecting. So, and they mulligan, so that's even better. Mulligan to 5, even better. This is also a matchup where having 2 Pain lands as our lands shouldn't punish us very much. Maybe we end up getting short comboed. Nice card at the top with Chandra when we otherwise wouldn't be. But that still seems unlikely. Okay, another 2-mana thing. I like that. If I could draw Hardened Scales, that would be great. I don't think I need to get another land here. Kind of like the Worker, but I also really like the Ravager. I like the Worker because I'm not guaranteed to have... I am guaranteed to have 4 mana next turn. Or 2 turns from now. I guess next turn I could make 3 mana by using the second Opal. And Worker that way, but no, I think I'm just gonna Ravage. Ravager also lets me get some use out of the the first Opal. Turns it into a counter. We could get pretty severely disrupted by Remand here, but ooh, that's interesting. Very interesting. But I'm still just going to start with Jar Overseer. Things could get pretty degenerate pretty quickly from here if our opponent isn't able to interact. It looks like they're remanding us, but can't stop everything. Them getting Steam Vents aggressively suggests they're a little land light, which makes sense based on the mulligan. I don't guarantee they have red, but we might be getting Exhaustion here too. Nope, Serum Visions. Let's see how many times they top off of this one. Bottom. And bottom. Now they bottom both. They do have a land, but it is a Caverns. Okay. So they just really needed a red mana. We're getting remanded again. If we do get remanded, we can't cast another spell. If we could already activate Opal, I'd use Opal Canopy. But I guess it still just wouldn't matter. But I'm taking a ton of damage now. Maybe I did want that Citadel. They do have another remand. Also, that Worker would have been really nice. I'm getting pretty punished for that play. And they found another island. All these remands are making me take more damage. I've just drawn 2 more copies of Ravager. Yeah, this is like absolutely the most punishing thing that could have happened, but we will keep trying to resolve our stuff. Are we getting Cryptic now? Yep. Maybe I was supposed to play a Ravager that time because of the likelihood of Cryptic Command. Another Visions. Yeah. Now I just want to draw a Darksteel Citadel. Top off of this one. This is going pretty poorly. Now they get to find an Ancestral. Let's see if they suspend it right here. I'd be much happier if they do. Come on. Suspend, please. Please. Okay, yeah, they're gonna look at the top of there to see if they have one. Oh no, they targeted me. Okay, they just have the... If they didn't have the enchantment as foretold, they could have looked at the top of their deck. But they looked at mine, which suggests and didn't suspend, so they probably do have as foretold. So that's not good. And we are sort of another 2-mana thing. Stop drawing these 2-mana cards. My hand would have played out so much better if I had just taken any other card off of that Stirrings, but I just had no idea about my next 3 draws. At least now I have non-painful mana. they're pretty well set up here. They get to go As Foretold, Ancestral. They're under no pressure. And then start trying to go off from there. A very good 5-card hand from our opponent. And I don't know if it was a mistake to take the Ravager. And the deck does have a lot of 2-mana plays between, I guess there's like 15 of them, and Throne, so 19. So maybe with more experience with the deck, I would have known that you're likely to draw a bunch of those. But I mean, it's the same scenario. If I take one of the cheap spells and draw all cheap spells, and like have my 2-mana thing answered, I'm in rough shape. Oh wow, they suspended the Ancestral. Okay, now we're in much better shape. I can't believe they didn't look at the top of their deck if they didn't have it. And didn't suspend last turn. Oh, they're getting EE. That's not the worst. Are they playing it for 2 here? Yep. Okay. Ooh, well, that's interesting. Now, I was going to just play Ravager anyway, and if they EE'd, I would like sack one of them to Ravager, regenerate one with the Jar. But now I can just play 2 0-mana things that are both great with Steel Overseer, and maybe just combo them out with Ravagers next turn and make this EE somewhat irrelevant. Although I guess, yeah, I have to give up a mana to do this, so it might be hard to do that, but it's still worth it. Cast, keep, choose a Mox Elf Keep. Now play this one. Done there. Activate here. And pass the turn. I think they're going to have to just pop the EE on their turn. This is the reveal zone. Let's go to the exile zone. So this will go to 3. Because they really don't want me to untap with the Overseer. Oh no, but I have the Jar. So now the EE is just bad. Okay. So now they could threaten to kill one of my other things. Oh no, they're plussing. I don't think that does much of anything. Although I am low on life because of these canopies. But I think they're just going to die here. You know, if they let me untap, I just get to activate the Overseer, and I have 12 damage plus remove 6 counters from Ballista and 18 you. If they don't let me untap and use the E now, I just regenerate the Steel Overseer and do the same thing. Do they have like Hurkyl's Recall as their last card or something? What happens if their last card is exactly Hurkyl's Recall? If I just attack and deal 8, continuing to play around this, and then post-combat play a Ravager, I don't think they can do anything about that. No, but then I'm just going to try to kill them. Attack DJ Hugs. Activate this. Hardened Scales does broken things. No, they're just going to die. Remove some counters. I would not like to redirect to Chandra. Okay, they have seen the writing on the wall. Interesting how we were able to really blank that Engineered Explosives with creatures that were cost us 2 mana but weren't actually 2 drops. So that was cool. I wonder if they were supposed to put it on 0, but if they do that, we just play a bunch of Ravagers and are in great shape regardless. So sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place on that one. Also, if they do it on 0 and pop it that turn, I just use the jar to save the opal, and they basically traded engineered explosives for a welding jar. So yeah, not really a great use either way. But based on how they played that one turn, not suspending the ancestral and not targeting themselves with the bauble, I thought their hand was great and was really worried. But when they mull the 5, often your opponent just doesn't have it, and they didn't. And Chandra certainly wasn't good enough, and we're able to do the classic kill them with ancestral visions in the exile zone, which I always love doing. But as you can see, Hardened Scale is really powerful with the all the modular creatures and the ballistas and hangerback walkers. We got pretty well stymied for the first 4 turns of the game, just not getting anything down, and we're able to recover very quickly and close the door within 3 turns or so, with plenty of gas left in the tank. So Hardened Skills gets really degenerate, super fun. Hope you enjoyed watching that one, and you can come back and see me on, what is this? I can't remember if this is going up on a Monday or a Wednesday, but whatever the next day is, either Wednesday or Friday, you know which one. Either way, come back.